New developments in the battle between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Just when it seemed the dust had finally settled after years of tension, the post-divorce saga of Hollywood's former golden couple Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie has once again ignited public attention. According to the latest court filings, 61-year-old Brad Pitt has submitted a legal request demanding that Angelina Jolie disclose all non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, she has signed with third parties. This move is seen as a direct counterstrike, following Jolie's earlier accusation that Pitt used NDAs to silence her regarding the infamous altercation aboard a private jet in 2016. The legal battle over Chateau Miraval, the estate and winery once shared by Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, has escalated to a dramatic new level. A new legal blow and the role of a Russian oligarch. What was once viewed as a private dispute between ex-spouses has now spilled far beyond the realm of personal grievances, touching on issues of international law, asset control, and even political economic sensitivities. The conflict erupted in 2022, when Pitt sued Jolie for allegedly making a secretive sale of her 50% stake in Chateau Miraval to Tenute del Mondo, a subsidiary of Stoli Group, owned by Russian oligarch Yuri Shefler. For Pitt, the issue was not just the sale itself, but to whom the shares were sold, a business figure he had previously and publicly opposed. Pitt claims this action violated an informal agreement the couple had made, that neither party would sell their stake in the property without mutual consent. To him, Miraval wasn't just a valuable estate, but a labor of love, a symbol of their shared past, and an investment he had poured heart and resources into for their children's future. In this latest development, Pitt's legal team is now targeting Alexei Oleinik, a high-ranking executive at Stoli Group. They believe Oleinik holds direct knowledge of the transaction between Jolie and Stoli, and could possess key documents or testimony that prove Jolie acted with malicious intent when she finalized the sale, a serious allegation if legally substantiated. However, this effort is running into international hurdles. Oleinik has refused to cooperate, claiming that as a Swiss citizen, he is outside the jurisdiction of U.S. courts. This has created a legal impasse, as gathering cross-border evidence, especially involving a Russian-affiliated conglomerate, presents steep challenges both in time and diplomacy. NDAs, a double-edged sword in the court of public opinion. What's particularly striking is how both sides have now weaponized non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, legal tools originally intended to protect privacy, to both defend and attack each other. Jolie previously accused Pitt of coercing her into signing an NDA with strict silence clauses, particularly relating to the 2016 in-flight incident, an episode that once shocked the media and public alike. Now Pitt is demanding Jolie reveal her own past NDAs with third parties, implying that she too may have used such agreements to control narratives or hide details. Legally, it's a strategic counterpunch designed to call into question the consistency of Jolie's allegations and to push the conversation into the open arena. In reality, NDAs, intended as shields, are now being used as swords. Their emergence in this battle reflects the deep erosion of trust between two people who once shared everything. Miraval, an estate or an emotional battleground? The bitter irony is that Chateau Miraval, once a symbol of Brad and Angelina's love, has become the most prolonged and emotionally charged battleground in their post-divorce conflict. A place that once saw vows, laughter, and family dreams now stands as the battlefield of a legal war. The estate represents more than vineyards and profits. It embodies the collapse of a dream, the end of a family once idolized by millions. And as legal teams argue over terms, contracts, and partnerships, what's left is a harsh truth. When trust breaks down, even love's remnants become ammunition. When business and personal trauma intertwine, if Brad Pitt's legal team frames the ongoing dispute as a purely business matter, a calculated attempt to protect what they call his legacy, then Angelina Jolie is painting an entirely different portrait. According to Jolie's legal filings, negotiations over selling her shares of Chateau Miraval back to Pitt collapsed not because of price or process, but because of principle. The actress asserts that Pitt demanded she sign an unfair and all-encompassing non-disclosure agreement, NDA, a move she and her lawyers interpret not as a standard business requirement, but as a veiled effort to legally silence her from speaking publicly about serious personal allegations, particularly those involving abuse. This brings the focus back yet again to one of the most painful and controversial chapters in their shared history, the now infamous private jet flight from France to the United States in 2016. Jolie claims that during that flight, Pitt verbally and physically assaulted both her and their children. That moment, she says, was the final breaking point that led her to file for divorce. Though the FBI conducted an investigation and ultimately did not file criminal charges against Pitt, the psychological scars and family fractures from that flight remain a central pillar in Jolie's defense, especially now that she sees Pitt's recent legal actions as an extension of that same control. Her attorney Paul Murphy put it plainly, the issue is that he, Pitt, wants her to sign an NDA that would silence her not just about business matters, but about deeply personal conduct. Unless he withdraws his lawsuit, we are forced to continue gathering evidence to protect her. Beyond the lawsuit, a battle over narrative and memory. What makes this legal confrontation extraordinary is that it is no longer confined to contracts, assets, or shareholder rights. It has evolved, or rather unraveled, into something far more emotional, more psychological. It is a contest of truth, where two people are fighting not just for what they each believe is legally theirs, but also for how their relationship, and its painful aftermath, will be remembered. For Pitt, Chateau Miraval has been presented as the culmination of his work ethic, vision, and deep personal investment, not only in real estate and wine, but in the idea of creating a lasting family legacy. For Jolie, however, the vineyard is now inseparable from a narrative of personal trauma, betrayal, and coercive control. The demand that she sign an NDA to sell her share, one she claims would muzzle her from speaking about her lived experiences, is seen as yet another attempt to reduce her voice to a footnote in a story she helped shape. In her view, this is not a business negotiation gone sour. It is a continuation of silencing and erasure, NDA, legal tool, or instrument of suppression. At the heart of this battle lies a complex legal question. When does a non-disclosure agreement stop being a tool to protect business interests and start becoming an instrument that suppresses accountability? Pitt's team may argue that NDAs are standard practice, particularly in multi-million-dollar transactions involving high-profile individuals. But Jolie's legal stance pushes us to confront a broader ethical dilemma. Can the language of business ever be ethically applied to silence personal pain? This is where the battle becomes symbolic. Jolie's refusal to sign the NDA is not just about Miraval. It's a refusal to participate in a narrative that, from her perspective, has systematically sidelined the abuse she says she endured. And in today's post-#MeToo climate, the implications of this legal nuance reach far beyond Hollywood. What remains unsaid, and yet ever-present, is the impact on the couple's 6 children. While neither side has publicly dragged the children into the legal fray, the emotional and psychological ramifications of a fight that originated on a family flight and continues to unfold in courtrooms cannot be ignored. The dispute over Miraval, the tension surrounding NDAs, and the repeated invocation of that traumatic flight all suggest a deeper, unresolved family trauma still unfolding behind closed doors. And as Jolie continues to link Pitt's legal maneuvers to that day in 2016, the message is clear. For her, there is no separating business from the personal. This legal war between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie is no longer just a battle over assets. It is a prolonged, emotionally draining conflict that continues to erode what remains of a once-celebrated family. Beyond the financial toll and courtroom rhetoric, the most enduring impact is the deepening fracture within a family already broken. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie share 6 children: Maddox, 23, Pax Thien, 21, Zahara, 20, Shiloh, 19, and twins Vivienne and Knox, 17. In recent months, subtle yet unmistakable signs from the children have painted a somber portrait of their evolving loyalties and emotional distance. Most notably, Vivienne chose to drop the Pitt surname in the playbill for The Outsiders, a Broadway production she helped bring to life alongside her mother. Before that, Zahara identified herself solely as Jolie during a public ceremony at her university sorority. These gestures may seem symbolic, but in a family where names once carried a shared legacy, they signal a quiet but powerful shift. Jolie has repeatedly expressed her desire to, quote, end the conflict and begin the healing process for the family. To her, selling her shares in Chateau Miraval was not just a financial decision, but a step toward independence, a way to reclaim peace and emotionally close a chapter long filled with pain. Yet despite these intentions, neither side appears willing to yield. The dispute over Miraval continues to rage, not just in courtrooms but in headlines, interviews, and public perception. What was once a castle of love nestled in the French countryside has now become a legal battlefield, a tragic monument to lost love, fractured trust, and the unrelenting war between two of the world's most recognizable stars. The story has evolved far beyond wine and money. Miraval is no longer just an estate. It is a symbol of what happens when personal trauma, public legacy, and parental responsibility collide. It has become a cautionary tale of how unresolved pain, when amplified by fame and power, can stretch across years, continents, and generations. And at the heart of it all, caught between headlines and legal documents, are 6 children, each navigating their own understanding of loyalty, identity, and truth. For them, this isn't just a media spectacle. It's the reality of their family life, unfolding under the gaze of millions. As the public continues to dissect every twist and motion, one quiet hope remains that someday, somewhere, this saga will find its resolution. And perhaps, for the sake of the children, the final chapter of this tragedy will offer not another courtroom battle, but a moment of peace.